how I've managed my time has greatly changed during the course of growing a $1 million plus Etsy shop. In this video, I'll go over the 5-step framework that I now always use to grow any type of business. Let's get into it. So, step 1, goals. Knowing why I do something. If I know what targets I need to hit each year, then I know what targets I need to hit each month, then I know what to do each and every day to hit those targets. And if I do those things each and every day, then that's a successful day, no matter like the immediate results that come after that. Because if you actually do the steps that you know that you've outlined, that's in line, like the whole vision that you have, then it makes it really easy to actually have a successful day without seeing immediate results. But there's one thing that we all probably have heard and we all probably have said sometimes in our lives, and that's that you don't have time. We all have 24 hours in the day, whoever you are, whether you're Jeff Bezos or you're the guy working at McDonald's. We all have 24 hours in the day. And when I had a regular 9 to 5 working in a shop, like a regular store, like a brick and mortar store, like I could work there from 12 to like 8 p.m. or like 10 to maybe like 6 or 7 p.m. After that, I would allocate all my time to the things that I wanted to progress. We all get tired after a long work day, but a great way to mitigate that is through training, for instance, so that we can always know that we have energy to actually allocate to the time that's left during the day. We all have priorities that we all gotta do, whether it's family, whether it's job, there's always some spare time that you can do something to create a future that you actually want. So I think it's really important to know that there's always some time that you can allocate to it in whichever step of the journey you're in to grow the specific thing that you want. If the goal is really clear and it's just one goal, like you want to grow an Etsy shop, for instance, then the focus will be on one thing during that specific time that you can then grow to whatever you want. But a really important ingredient to this, to actually make this work, in my opinion, is to have patience. That's something that we all heard along the way, but in my own experience, it's one of the most crucial ingredients to actually make things work. Something that I've really relied on is to just trust the process. And I've really put that into practice, because when I did my merch on demand journey, basically, what I wanted to set as my daily goal is to basically upload everything each day. Like in the beginning, if I'm not selling anything for 7 to 14 days, then I will swap out all of my designs and I will just try out some new stuff, and then I will keep on reflecting on it to just see what can get better and then implement that going forward. The whole thing with that is that I still have to be patient and just see what results I get, so I can then just progress after that. And with Etsy, I had a goal that within 3 months I need to make $500 to $1,000 in profit to actually be able to make it work. Like I just went ham from the very beginning. I had no income and I just had to make it work. But with that whole thing, I just set my daily goals to just, I think it was to list 30 to 50 listings a day, which was kind of a weird goal to have. So listing is not the thing that will make you progress, but that was my goal at the time. I learned a lot from it, but I definitely could have done better stuff than that to progress faster. And my monthly goal was to hit 500 listings a month. And then I actually hit my targets of doing about 500 to 1K profit a month, but then I kind of stayed at that for quite some time. But I couldn't get to that point without putting the work in each day and then waiting 3 months. So just trusting the process. Maybe I don't see any sales today or tomorrow. I know that within 3 months, I'll have something and I'll have the goal that I want. But with one really important caveat, and that's the next step, which is reflection. So things didn't really work out all the time, and I had to learn a lot to make it work. A big portion of I put up 50 listings today. In the beginning, since I didn't know how Etsy worked at all, it took me 7 to 8 hours each day. So yeah, it took me all the time that I actually had left in the day to actually make it work. But then as I got better, I got faster at it. But if you put the same stuff up that doesn't sell, it doesn't really work. So you still have to I still had to reflect on it to get better, since I knew that, okay, I'm listing stuff, I'm doing things, but nothing is working. How can I get better? That question in and of itself is so important, to just reflect on what isn't working. One of the absolute main ingredients to actually make this whole, whatever entrepreneurship journey you're on or that I take on work. What I've noticed is that we all have these beliefs, we all have these preconceived conceptions of how things will be, of how things are, that are usually kind of wrong in some ways. Because I've noticed that the clearer you kind of see things, the easier it is to just allocate time to the right things. So Here's an example of that. If I knew, for instance, that I would need a best-selling elements list and combine stuff in new ways to add value to a specific niche, then I wouldn't really have to do like 500 listings a month. And another example of that too is that if I got some sales, for instance, on a listing, if I knew that, okay, a guarantee is a huge thing to actually garner and sales because it offsets so much risk from the customer and puts it back on the sellers, but it's a huge thing to have in a listing, then that would progress me faster. But I can see that clearly now looking back at it, but I had no idea about that in the beginning. So I have a much better like view on it now, which makes it's so much easier to actually approach POD and Etsy, since I have a clear view on what to do that will actually work, which I didn't have in the beginning. If you think of Etsy as a big puzzle, let's say that you have like one puzzle piece down, but then you have all these other parts of the puzzle left, and all of those pieces are kind of blurry. The better you get, the less blurry each piece becomes. So let's say that you, for instance, learn about the guarantees, then another piece of this puzzle is basically then clearing up, and you can see the puzzle and the whole picture better the more you try stuff and the more you reflect on it. But that also leads into the last part, which is iteration. So when you know actually what to do, it's really important to not get stuck in the planning stage. I have so many comments that I get from you guys, which I really appreciate, but I mean, I hope I don't sound too harsh with this, but if you plan too much and just think too much around it, like you can't really progress in the journey, because you have to try stuff out. You have to make some mistakes to actually be able to reflect on it and to then basically get better. So at this stage, when you know actually what to do, you have to implement the stuff that you actually do, not just know what to do and just think that this will get better. If you have an idea, like this thing will make it better or this thing will make it better, then just trying that out, not judging it, not thinking that this is going to be good or bad, or get stuck in the planning phase. I think it's really important to just lean towards always doing things in the beginning, since that will make you progress faster if you don't have a lot of money. Like I didn't have a lot of money in the beginning. If you have some money, it's always easier to just learn for someone else, since you can leverage their experience, which will fast track the progress for you. But the trade-off is that you have to have some money for it. All in all, when you're at the stage where you've actually reflected on it, the thing that you need to do after that is that if you know what to do better, like if the puzzle piece is a bit clearer because, okay, this guarantee could really work, then you need to actually like implement this puzzle piece that you just learned about into the whole like business that you're doing. In my opinion, you're not really learning anything if you're not like changing your behavior. Yeah, I just really resonate with it. Like you really learn something when you have actually acquired some new information and then it's changed some behavior in some way. But if you don't change your behavior in some way, like implement, for instance, the stuff into Etsy, on how you do Etsy, you haven't really learned the thing. So I think it's really important to like reflect and then iterate to make the thing better. So change stuff around, see what can be done better, but then try out the ideas that you have, things that you think will make it better, try them out and implement those in the thing that you're working on to make it better. And once you know, okay, after you've done that, you might notice other things that will also like improve the shop, and then those things over time kind of compound. So you might learn about the guarantees. You might learn that, okay, this type of design slot really works well. So now you have two puzzle pieces, for instance, that's really clear in the whole Etsy puzzle, for instance. Then you might learn that, okay, if free shipping or like paid shipping works much better than the other, so then you have one more puzzle piece that's making the whole puzzle clearer. And then you might learn that using Etsy ads and a break-even pricing and a profit pricing strategy is something that works super well. And now you have 5 puzzle pieces that's starting to make the whole like Etsy puzzle like work, because you have 5 clear puzzle pieces that are clearly working. So 5 puzzle pieces out of the whole thing you now have going. Like the first thing is to have goals, so you know what to do each and every day, but it stems from knowing what you actually want in the end. The second step is to always just make sure to actually do the things and not blame it on not having time. We all have 24 hours in the day, and whether it's like 2 hours or 6 hours or 8 hours, we can always allocate the time to something that we want to see progress and to grow. The third thing is to always have patience, because if you're doing the things that you actually want, that you know will make you progress, and you're doing this stuff every day, then you are successful in and of itself. It's because you're doing the daily task that you want to do. So just having patience and trusting the process is really, really important. But when you're actually like trusting the process, making sure that you actually also reflect on it to see if things are working, if things are not working, because our own preconceived conceptions can usually be wrong in the beginning. So just reflecting on stuff, thinking what can be done better here, what can be done better here. Lastly, iterating on it so that we're actually like fixing the stuff that didn't work and making it better, and by taking action and always just implementing the stuff that we learn throughout our journey. Those are the 5 steps that I've just noticed are working super well, whether it's with whatever endeavor it really is. Alright, so if you're in the beginning phases of doing Etsy and print on demand, then I would really suggest watching this video right here. It goes over the most crucial part about the whole thing, which is design. Anyhow, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.